All right, I'm cutting it early because it's Friday. And you know what? Today I feel like singing. And today is the day where I'm actually going to belt out some show tunes. My wife and I just got a karaoke machine, so I have to practice. So I figured I'd practice for y'all. So if you're ready, I'm going to sing one of my favorite songs on the planet, Kenny Rogers, The Gambler. And here we go. On a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere, I met up with the gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns of staring to the window out the darkness, and boredom overtook us, and he began to speak. He said, "Son, I've made a life out of reading people's faces." I think the Bodacious Cowboys internet just went out. Oh, no, he put his...
No, I did that purposely. I cannot be affiliated with this show anymore.
Gentlemen, I was just saying off air, I really think I'm going to quit my logistics career and go into singing. Like this is. Did you hear the harmony in my voice? Did you guys just hear that?
That F sharp was definitely F sharping. It was definitely F sharping today.
You mean that F failure note?
You got to know when to hold. Yeah, Lisa, I agree. You see, I want to join you guys one day singing. Seriously. So, Lisa, do I not sing well? Because I think I sing like when I hear myself sing, I'm thinking, Kenny Rogers, you better watch out, brother, because Deigan's in town. No, am I the only one?
Kenny Rogers dead?
No.
Is Kenny Rogers alive still?
No, I think he's dead. Actually,
when you sing, you have the ability to empty rooms.
Yeah,
it's more snacks for me.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's like when somebody says you have a face for radio. You know, you've got a you've got a voice for I don't know what.
You have a face for radio. I love that. You are fugly as sin, in other words, is what they're really saying.
There we go.
Oh man. You know what, Ryan? Great to have you back here, buddy. We've missed you over the last little while. I've had so many people connect me. Goes, Ryan's still on the show? I'm like, yeah, just a few scheduling conflicts we've had over the last little while, but you know, it's one of these things where we're getting back into normal next week, and we're the new normal next week, and get back into it. But good to have you here, buddy. We because I've kind of been taking flack, and I know you've seen the shows, but Dean and Jeff have been giving me serious flack over the questions on Fridays because it's supposed to be fun days, and apparently I get too deep. So what I have for today is I have a few fun facts about logistics plan that I'm going to ask you guys and see where we all stand. You guys cool with that?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's see where this takes us. Let's go.
Okay. So, just full transparency, I've collected these facts from the internet, from ChatGPT, from a couple of blogs and different things. So, if some of them are not quite accurate, it's not me or just blame me. I really don't care. I got big shoulders. We're good.
I didn't dig in far enough.
Do you guys know who the majority of people claim to be the pioneer of supply chain management as we know it today?
So the pioneer, so somebody who is like the OG.
The OG of supply chain management as we know it today. And I'll give you a hint. Super mentality, positive mentality, transformed the way we build vehicles.
Tesla.
And
Ford.
Henry Ford.
Okay.
Henry Ford. So Henry Ford is accredited for pioneering supply chain management. And the reason being is when they were building the Model T, what started happening was typically from what I've gathered, up until that point, it would be kind of like a company in town that had raw steel would go and you'd stamp it and you do all that. And because of Henry Ford's production line, he was the first one to put steel on boats and buy it from different states and ship it up to him to build. So they're actually saying that he's kind of pioneered supply chain movement of ships to trucks to all that kind of stuff in the building of his assembly lines, I guess, as you would put. So I started digging in a little deeper because I said, well, what are some lessons from Henry Ford about today's supply chain mess? And there's a great article in the New York Times about it, talking about how like he got all sorts of lumber and stuff harvested from Michigan's Upper Peninsula and then sent it downriver and all this kind of stuff. So it was actually then it leads into like the chips in Taiwan and all this kind of stuff. So I won't go into that because that's not kind of like fun facts. But I thought it was a pretty cool fact that Henry Ford is actually, given the OG status of pioneering today's supply chain. Pretty cool,
think about it. He built the first assembly line.
Yeah. Modern assembly line as we know it today.
Yes.
And you think of what's come out of that, right? Like the McDonald's assembly line, the like all these things are just reflections in some which way, shape, or form of what Henry Ford built. Right? Like you think of how fast Ford put stuff to come off the line compared to any other company for eons. Pretty cool.
Yeah. You would think though that, like for the notoriety that he has, right, that they would come up with better names for like Ford itself, right? Because the running joke within like my mechanic family is that if you have a Ford, it stands for fix or repair daily. So
found on road dead.
Exactly. There we go. Or my dad likes to say for only rum drinkers. I don't know why he doesn't even drive a Ford, but
fourth on race day.
I like that one. I like that one.
You see,
or first,
I drive a Ford.
You can
I've been
say
driving
first
Fords
too.
for years. I love Ford.
I give my sister my Ford Fusion. It's a great car. It's a great car, and just coming back to what you just said, and I know Jeff, you have some experience with that, but it goes to show you, where our history has kind of brought this, right? And you're talking about the pioneer of like making assembly lines. You just talked about McDonald's. Like think about like Jeff, maybe you can agree with this. Like I can't think of any operation that's like on a mass scale that doesn't have an assembly line. What the hell would they do? Like what would happen, right? So it's crazy. I like that. I like that tip. It's cool.
Hey, you know what? I got a great fun fact for you.
Go for it.
All right. Who is the father of containerization?
Jeff, it's funny you just asked that.
Because I know, and I actually used to use them, but it's fascinating. Do you know, Dan? If you just looked it up, don't.
Well, no, because so what I did is I went to Chat GPT yesterday and I said, when did the logistics industry start?
I'll give you a call.
And what's that?
No, sorry.
Somebody going to give me a call?
No, we're good.
Oh, and so it's actually talking about 18th century is when it actually began during the Industrial Revolution. Advancements in transportation, such as the invention of the steam engine and the expansion of railways and canals, revolutionized the movement of goods. These developments led to the emergence of specialized transportation and storage services in the early 1950s. So, but it doesn't say who the OG was, so it doesn't give a company. So, what is your answer to that, Jeff?
Yes, the father of containerization and actually started at the port of New Jersey is Malcolm McLean. He was the owner of McLean Trucking. Fantastic trucking, had one of the best equipment around. I used them in the 80s. And then, he closed up because, he was old, but he was the first one that created a container and started the industry, actually turned the industry upside down. It's fantastic. But yeah.
So Stacy, I don't know what's going on. Since we switched to StreamYard, Stacy's come up as LinkedIn user.
Hello, LinkedIn
so
user.
Now she's putting her name. So okay, next one.
Yep.
Right. So now, again, this is women in trucking.
Okay.
47% of trucking business workforce are women. 7% are drivers. Interesting fact. So now, again, this was 2021. So I don't know how much that's changed in kind of the last year and 3/4, almost 2 years. So 47% of the trucking business workforce are women, which actually makes a lot of sense because I think there's very few men in ops from what I've seen over my years. Women are, and there's a lot more women in sales now than I've ever seen. Oh, yeah. But especially when I first started, like, I don't think there was any guys in operations. It was all women because they're just way more organized than we are, in my opinion. But yeah. What do you guys think?
Nah, I don't agree with that.
Ryan, what do you think?
I do definitely.
No, I think that's I don't know. I feel that's a bit of a cop out. I feel, in my personal opinion, I feel it's a mix. I feel like I'm seeing a mix, at least. I can't attest for any other companies out there, but I'm seeing a lot of more males working in the ops roles because, and what I'm seeing too, like I'm seeing like it's a lot of males who are in the industry who can like speak multiple languages. So I got some friends who like speak like Hindi. They speak
on that side. Yeah, I'll agree with you. Sure.
Yeah, 100% on that side. But yeah, in terms of like the drivers, it's definitely a low number, but I don't necessarily agree with like the terms like putting these gender roles of like they're more organized than us because like hey I've met a bunch of dirty women before too, so I think it's just
no and of course there's generalization, but when I first started and again we're going back some time now, there were like I never found a male in operations, but you're right, Ryan, some companies are predominantly male in operations. And I think there's a shift in that retrospect. I remember the running joke for us back in the day was if you can't sell, then you go into operations, right? And I know that's not necessarily what it is today.
I love that.
But it was one of these things where you have so many people start out in sales and then all of a sudden they're in operations and it's like, oh, you couldn't hack it, could you? Kind of a ha ha ha. No offense to any male that's in operations, but I thought the 7% of commercial drivers being women, I think
that's
to
higher.
Me that seems low for today's day.
It's higher. It's definitely higher.
It's higher, right? Okay.
Stacy, chime in if you will, but I think it's in 14% or something like that, or even higher. I thought the total number of women at the time was like over 200,000. I think it's closer to like 400,000 now. Stacy, can you chime in?
And that's America, right?
Just yes,
U.S. I think, isn't it?
US,
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So here's an interesting fact for you guys. Do you guys know how FedEx was saved when it first started?
No, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Actually, it's really funny. Like one of my friends, his badge for FedEx, which is unbelievable because how many people work at FedEx now? What do you think?
I don't know.
A lot.
Well, he used to work side by side with Fred Smith, and his employee number was number 4. Like when they first started out. What's that?
Does he own part of the company now, or is he still working there?
He's very well off. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, good for him. Very good. Number 4. Lucky.
But he actually he worked for Bird Dog Solutions as well when he left FedEx. But yeah, interesting stuff on that side. But I don't remember exactly what saved them though.
So it's gonna get even more interesting for you. So FedEx was actually saved by gambling. In the early days of FedEx, the company was facing financial difficulties and only had $5,000 left in its account.
That somewhere.
The founder, Frederick W. Smith, took the remaining funds and flew to Vegas and re-gambled and won $27,000. This money helped keep the company afloat for a few more days and allowed FedEx to continue its operations.
Imagine that. Talk about risk.
Imagine that, guys.
Talk about risk.
Well, here's the question: what game did he play? Did he hit the slots? Did he go blackjack?
That's
what did he roulette?
I'm saying roulette.
Roulette. You go black or red? You doing a number? You're picking even on.
What are you doing? Like your last $5,000 of your company, and you're Imagine how tight the sphincter was when he put that bet down. Like, guys, you gotta. It's like a duck's arse underwater had nothing to hold to that. You know what I mean? Like,
he was probably thinking at the time, WTF. Let's
Yeah.
just do it. I got nothing else to lose on this. Let's just go. Let's just let it ride.
Let it rip, yeah.
And boy, did it. Boy, did it ever, right?
Yeah, I think I would think
on that investment.
Let's put ourselves in his shoe, right? I think that the plane ride or the drive over, whatever he took, that's where the worry set in. But once he stepped into the casino, it was all business, because you're at a point of no return. You got to go anyways. You're not going to leave. You're already gone there, right? You're already in the hole. So I feel like he went in there with a purpose, and boom.
Yeah, this is what Fred said. Raise your arm, Dan.
Yeah. Yeah, literally, it's what he said. So here's another good one for you guys. You guys know how UPS started?
I'm not really feeling the fun day on these questions though. I don't really,
No, I like this.
Yeah, audience. How you guys liking these, man? This is I thought we'd be coming here cracking some jokes, sharing some stories, and
buddy, I sang. That was like
you guys too.
It was laughing your arses off.
It was downhill from there.
You're saying it was downhill from my singing, so you do admit I'm a good singer.
Oh, you are, yeah.
Okay. No, so here's an interesting fact.
Yeah, go ahead. Let it ride.
One of the largest global transportation companies in the world actually started as a bike messenger service in 1907, specifically in Seattle, Washington. And so it was a bike, and it eventually expanded to obviously the UPS was what we see it today. But it started as a bike messenger service with 3 bicycles. So cool, man. Is that not friggin' cool or what? Like we only see UPS as the brown trucks and the driver, but as a bike messenger service in Seattle, Washington, 3 bikes. I think that's pretty cool.
Oh, I love those. I love those. Like, that's why I love to watch like Shark Tank and stuff like that. Like hearing these humble beginnings, where you kind of start and then these things become like, look at Scrub Daddy, like that sponge thing. They were on Shark Tank and now they're like everywhere and they've been
everywhere.
But you watch that pitch, it's pretty cool to see. And UPS, something's in the water in Seattle, Dan, because you got Starbucks out there. I think, you got some.
Well, it's Seattle, Washington.
Yeah,
not Seattle, the state, right? So it's Washington.
No, right? Seattle, Washington. Seattle's by BC.
No, Seattle, Washington. Yeah, Seattle.
Yeah.
Hey, I was gonna say Seattle, the state. I was like, what?
See, I'm one of those days, boys. You see, I told you it'd be fun today. Just hang back, just hang with me, man. You guys will be all good.
I am. I mean, pardon me.
You're like the.
I make everyone else feel better, right?
Yeah, you're like the pilot of the Titanic, that Titanic submarine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's just a little crack.
I got a question. Where does the term logistics originate from?
It's logistiques. It's a French term.
I'm gonna say it's probably like Anglo-Saxon, something like something is speaking to me.
And it was also created by the army. I know that.
So it was World War II, where logistics it was created for the first, like the military created the what's that water bottle, Dan?
There we go.
So yes, it was in the World War II, was accredited for kind of that first global logistics of bringing all the arms and stuff. So here's the thing when it comes to the term logistics. You're right, Jeff. I found 2 reports. It started as a French word, logistique. And then the second report actually says originates in ancient Greece. The word logistics has its roots in ancient Greek. It comes from the term logistique, meaning the science of calculating or the art of reasoning.
Yes.
Which is interesting because, I mean, calculating, I get it, but the art of reasoning in logistics, there's no real reasoning in logistics. Like some days you're just going like, yeah, I don't even know how that could have happened.
Well, right? If you think about the pyramids too, because I read this quite some time ago that there was quite a plan for logistics to move all those. I mean, you talk about gazillion tons. I know that's not a word, but the pyramids, the rocks, and what they weighed and how they were able to maneuver them. They didn't have the equipment that we have today. It's like, so how the hell did they do that? Nobody still can answer that. They can't. I mean, just the physics behind it is just unbelievable.
So I love ancient Greece and stuff, and done a lot of reading on it, and the pyramid times and stuff. So from the best calculations, they were saying that obviously, so a lot of things were moved by water, where they would actually, so they carved the statue out, and then once the statue was carved out minus a couple of little pieces, they would actually flood it. So they would dig a trench to the water would come in, and they'd actually move things that way. And then also it was rollers. So they took round pieces and put them under the rocks and kind of rolled them across. And it's interesting fact, I've actually moved 600-700 pound stones on PVC pipes across my property.
Definitely.
And I called them the Roman rollers. Because I was like, man, I should friggin' create these. Like, I should get these things built and like actually sell the Roman rollers, because you can move anything. I moved my shed, full shed, like everything in it. All I did was put PVC piping underneath and started to roll it.
They do it.
Fully loaded shed.
They do it when they build these giant warships. I mean, you look at them, and they've got all these rollers, and they have these bags that are underneath it, and it just slides right down into the water. I mean, where did they learn that from? Right when you said.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay. So, in how many people do you guys see the logistics industry employing in the United States?
$12 million. Let's go with that.
Yeah, I was going to go around that too. I mean, when you're talking encompassing everything, drivers, operations, right? All of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Planes too, because that should be. I mean, you're talking.
I mean, I guess it's. It doesn't say. It just says the logistics industry.
Yeah, because I mean, when you think about that, it's pretty broad when you think about.
Yeah. Because there's so many people, so many moving parts. Because are you including like the customer side of it? So supply chain analysis. I don't know. I don't want to get all into the thing, but I'm gonna say, because I just looked it up, the population of the U.S. is like 330 million people, right? So I'm gonna say 12. I can't see more than. Well, Dan's gonna let us know with the numbers, but
12.2 million.
Get out of here! Get out of here! I swear to God,
I mean, that's what. From what I've found, 12.2 million people are employed in the logistics industry. Like that. You know what that calls for,
yes, brother. You know what that calls for, brother? That calls for a singing commercial break. You know, back to Kenny Rogers. Yeah, let's go for it.
Pardon me, why
If so, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page by going to YouTube and clicking on Sales Chatter Live. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification where you'll get the exclusive notifications every time we go live and upload new podcasts. Now let's continue with this episode. No, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I meant you singing.
That was going to be Dan singing.
Yeah. I only know one song, and I already sang half of it.
Good.
The other half.
Stop there.
Oh, you know what? I could put on a little country. You guys want to hear some country music? I can sing some country.
We're
on YouTube.
We're on YouTube. Ryan doesn't like country.
Monday, Friday.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. Let's
Friday.
Let's bring the fun back in here. You know, not the day. You know, like.
Okay, so
Here comes the zinger.
Okay. How many years on average does a small business truck driver drive for?
4.
Now I was going to say 5.
Yeah, see?
5.
There we go, cowboy.
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay, here's a good one. The average truck driver, how often are they away from home in a percentage?
I'd say 40%.
Are you talking like? See, that's an open question. Are you talking long haul, short haul? You know,
it's just average, so it probably takes long, short, and everything in.
How many days? I would say
in percentage.
Percentage, I would at home. I would say
actually
37%.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 25.
Okay. The average truck driver spends 66% of his nights away from their homes every year.
Whoa, I'm close.
they don't night work only for 120 nights a year. For the rest of the 240 nights, they're away from their houses. So
That's
I guess
35%.
that would probably be more long haul than like local guys, because local guys are typically home every night. So here's a big one that has actually I think we've talked about quite a bit, and I don't know how skewed this number is. I think it's pretty accurate, but what's the percentage of the market that is small trucking businesses?
Ooh,
5.
'cause that's going
5.
down. That's going up. That's going up.
Small.
Small trucking. So
Okay.
not the
You
large
talk
like
box trucks,
Yellows or,
van, expedite, that kind of stuff.
yeah, so just small trucking companies. How much of the market pie does small trucking companies have?
Well, the
28%.
way that they complain, it seems like 100, but I'm gonna say it's definitely like less than 15.
I'm going to say 28.
No, so small trucking companies actually cover 90% of the market.
Holy crap! Man, that's
Okay.
Again, that's what this is saying, that like small fleet. So I guess the question would be, what would be a small fleet? Under 100 trucks, under 200 trucks, kind of thing, right? Like we are talking, like Ryan for us in Canada, like Challenger would be considered a small fleet in the US, but it's a big fleet in Canada. Do you know what I mean? So it's
okay. Because like when I think small, I'm thinking like 5 truck operation. That's the thing for me.
Yeah. And so that's the only piece but apparently small trucking businesses cover 90% of the market pie.
So they have a right to complain then. They got a right to troll DAT on Tuesdays then, like.
So Stacy said 8 million. I guess that would be women truck drivers.
No, that was the one that we did with the population thing.
Yeah. Oh, population. Okay, like 98%. She says. Yeah. Small fleets are like 5 to 10 trucks. So I mean, I don't see that. I see so. Yeah. Okay. So here's another one.
Oh.
So us as sales reps in the logistics industry, we've come across companies that have their own fleet, right, of trucks. On average, what would you say across the US does a company save if it outsources its logistics? Ouch. Now that could be to a broker or a carrier, just does not have its own trucks, its own drivers.
90?
I would say 18%.
Close, 13%.
All right.
So if they outsource their logistics, they save on average 13% for their shipping costs.
Oh, save. Okay, I thought you meant how much save. I thought how much they actually outsource. My bad. So they save 13.
No. So save. So instead of having your own trucks, you outsource. It's typically again, based on this, it's on average of a 13% savings. You guys want to do one more?
It's subjective. I mean,
it is.
You would have a better savings than Ryan. I'd have a better savings than Ryan. I mean, it really all depends.
Well, that's why they say on average.
Yeah,
on average. Yeah, we're going with the average.
Again, they're
you'll never find defined here.
Yeah,
no, you
right,
won't.
exactly.
Just like this next question.
No.
So, how many miles do you think you would cover if you added up all the miles trucks did in a year?
Oh fuck! You'd go around the earth.
Oh my god!
A billion times. You'd go around the earth like a billion times.
All the trucks on that?
Yeah,
I mean, I mean, I say you go back and forth to the moon about 40 times.
There we go.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. So, add up the total distance covered by all trucks in a year. It would be a mind-boggling 300 billion miles. And guess what? With those numbers, you could make 652,173 round trips to the moon.
To the moon.
To the moon.
To the moon, Alice.
So one more, because this is actually pretty cool. So how many barrels of oil do you think is consumed a day in the trucking industry?
Oh, a lot.
I would say
barrels.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that. I'm going
to say 3 million. Screw it.
No way. It'll be much more than that. I'm going to go with on a year, right? 100
Oil
million.
every day.
No, a day.
Every
a
day.
day.
Every
a
day?
day. A day. Yeah.
20 million.
Okay. Ryan, all trucks combined consume 5.8 million barrels of oil every day.
There
Now,
we go.
it was hardly 1.6 million barrels of oil per day in 2010. So that gives you an idea as to how much the industry has grown since 2010. It was barely 1.6 million. Today in 2022, it was 5.8 million barrels of oil were consumed every day by the trucking industry.
That is cool.
Like, that's huge. That's
That is huge.
massive.
That is,
growth.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
and just you think about oil and like just million barrels a day to keep our economy running.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane.
I'm laughing
And
inside because I'm like, this episode, if any logistics reps out there, if you're having you're having a prospect that will not reply to you, send them one of these facts, send them one of these questions, you know, and get or send them the video of Dan singing, you know, you might get blocked, but you know, send them one. No,
Yeah. Where do you want me to
stats.
sign? Please, I don't want to hear anymore. Where do you want me to sign?
he got caught up in the spam filter. Yeah, pretty cool, eh?
Hey,
I thought it would be a fun day to go over some of that stuff, because some of it you're like, you know, American spend. How many do companies spend on logistics every year in America? 1.5 trillion.
Yep.
Just in America. It's 8% of the global GDP. Is strictly freight transportation, not logistics, freight transportation. Like, I mean, you can get so in depth with this, and just, you know, it's crazy. In the total freight volume market, trucks are responsible for hauling 70% of the total freight market. So 30% is left for trains, planes, like
automobiles.
Well, automobiles, the truck, but maybe not, because you're talking like cars and stuff, and you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to me, I'm like sitting there. Some of these facts were just crazy.
No, I think it's awesome,
So,
you know, and
It's something like that, you know, all of us, I think for both of you can agree, like, I'm seeing that, especially like couple months ago, we're seeing a lot of supply chain stuff. We're seeing a lot of like these kind of facts show up in like regular mainstream media news. And I think it's so cool because like I've had so many people. It started with like not the vaccine, like you had to be vaxxed to come back in Canada, and they had the restrictions and stuff like that. And having people reach out to me and be like, "Hey, I know you work in logistics, and these what are your thoughts?" And it's kind of cool to paint those pictures for people. So I think for anyone who's watching, like, understand that, you know, we're bringing up these facts and things like that. But even if you go to CNN, like I went to CNN like a couple minutes ago, and they're talking about Amazon Prime already, like $12.7 billion in 2 days. $12.7 billion.
That's
you know,
huge.
Where do you think those things are moving by? You know, they're not. They don't have the drones yet in the States yet, right? So I know the Amazon drones, so they're moving by truck. You know, so like we always make our joke at the end, like my clothesline stuff like that. But think about that: 12.7 billion, and they were just only up 6.1%. You know, 6.1%. It's crazy, man. The logistics, the supply chain, this is such a fun ride to be a part of. To talk to your customers, to talk to other like-minded people like us here, and, you know, understand that it's not just about crunching numbers. It's not boring. It might not be the sexiest thing in the world, because Dan, when you were mentioning about like the women drivers, right? Like I'm thinking when Jeff and I had women in trucking and we had truck drivers, they would say, you know, we go to places where there's not places for us to change, you know, as a woman. There's not things for actually like resources for us. And, you know, driving into places like, let's call it spade a spade. Would you want your wife driving into Gary, Indiana on the night to do a drop off? I would say hell to the no. Right. So it's just like, you know, you look at all these factors and have that conversation, because logistics, as you mentioned, is a Greek word, it's a French word, World War II. It's clearly not going anywhere. So I would recommend everyone to get educated with it.
Yeah.
No, you know what? It's funny, because you you know, you see AI, you see you know, autonomous trucks, and you see all this stuff. And I actually watched something by Gary Vee yesterday, and he was talking about when the farm tractor first came out, and every farmer was like, "Oh, there goes our jobs." We're, you know, but it made them more productive, as opposed to stealing their job.
Yep.
And the logistics, the human aspect behind what we do will never change.
Right.
Because listen, don't get me wrong, there's some companies even now, they want to talk to computers over humans. They want to go to a website, they want to enter their details, they want to pick the lowest rate, and they just want to schedule a truck through a computer. They don't want to talk to anybody, they don't want to create relationships, they don't want to. But there's other companies that they would die if they didn't create the relationships inside logistics. Inside their logistics network. If they didn't have the ability to call one of you guys up and say, hey, I need this, can you make it happen? Yeah, let me make it happen for you. Like, they would literally be buried.
Yeah.
And that'll never change, no matter what happens.
Right.
Anthony said, Ryan, you hit a note here, brother.
Yeah,
Anthony says I live 20 miles.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Anthony. Better use Inception to get out of Gary, man.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm just playing with you, buddy.
Yeah. Anthony, don't make your problems our problems, brother. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I mean, you know what this industry is, it to me anyways, and maybe I'm biased because I've been in it for so long, but it is the best damn industry in the world, man.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
To me, it's the best thing you can do to really generate the life that you want. Right? Like, and then this is coming from a grade 9 dropout. Like, I was told for years, oh, you're going to be nothing. You got to finish school. You're going to be nothing. And I found logistics and I was like, damn, I could friggin' be something. And don't get me wrong. A lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of training, a lot of education, a lot of, banging my head against the wall, a lot of trips and falls and scrapes and bruises. But it's an industry where you can make an amazing living for yourself and your family. Like, amazing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you're smart, and if you're not necessarily a logistics fanatic like the three of us, be in it for 5, 6, 7 years, make a shit whack of money and get out.
Yeah. And it's that I love that you just said that, Dan, because like
People think like
the traditional thing is like you have that job, your salary, your 401k and all that stuff. You get your 25-cent raise like every quarter or something like that. And it's just like,
you watch after 30 years.
You got to Or
no, you don't get that anymore.
Or you get a pizza lunch is shown as team camaraderie or whatever. You remember those ones, right? Like, hey, we're having team building. Let's have pizza, But with logistics, you can really I want people to understand, it's truly you can really be a business within a business. Jeff is a true testament to it. Dan is a true testament. I hope to be a true testament of it one day. I'm just saying, right? Try to get to that point. But just for anybody who's watching, somebody like Anthony, somebody like Stacy, it's important that we always share this message. It's not hard. It's not easy. It is hard, but at the end of the day, we can. I know I will never go work for a logo again. I know Jeff will never go work for a logo again. I know Dan will never go work for a logo again. But even if you do work for a logo, propel that to learn everything you know about the logo. But it's all about you at the end of the day. So I think, when Dan's posting that amazing picture of him at his poolside. I know Jeff has his amazing lake where he looks to the right and he plays with his dogs and stuff like that. Well, sorry, with his dog and doing the things that he wants to do, like Jeff is able to go and do amazing podcasts and he's doing a speaker event. Dan is able to get back into the groove of things right now. And we're launching something really, really cool within the next couple of weeks. And, being able to understand that something that you would think would be a side hustle, is not truly a side hustle. It's the life that you want to live. So don't think that you just got to sit at your desk and book freight. You're missing the point of logistics if you truly think that's what it is.
Yeah, it's only you against you. You have nobody. When you have your own business, it's always you against you. You have nobody to report to except yourself, and you are fully accountable for everything that you do moving forward when you start your own business, for sure. Nobody else answers to you.
One thing, Jeff, on Monday, Dan and we did our clips, and I don't know, this has been sitting with me, Dan, since we aired it again, was, when that gentleman said, a person's driven by purpose, and I think it was duty. Over having nice things or like embellishments and all that stuff. And when you truly are motivated by purpose and duty, this morning I woke up 5 o'clock because it's my duty to walk my dogs for an hour. Then I can go hit the gym and do different things in my life. That's my purpose and my duty. I want that because I want a healthy body and different things like that. Even with Jeff yourself, you're making those referrals. And I saw that post you made yesterday about sending an email to a customer like, look, I know where we screw up, and I will admit to that. That is his purpose and his duty. Dan does the same thing all the time as well, like talking about his purpose and duty. He puts that little post sometimes of who he needs to be on top of his game for every single day, and he writes it down. It's going to be different every single day, but at the end of the day, that is his purpose and duty. So the big message for me, I know I haven't been here on a while live and stuff like that, but I just want everybody to kind of really take that into the weekend. You know, really figure out what your purpose and duty is in this life, and then work towards it. Not even work towards it, run towards it. You know, everyone says a marathon sprint, just run towards it. That's all you really need.
Yes.
You know, it's chase your dreams, because dreams won't chase you back.
Oh.
Right? Like, and it's a saying that after our clip on Tuesday, Ryan, I sat down for probably about an hour and a half and just thought about that purpose and duty.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, you know, and here's the thing is, it's not as if it was ever distant to me, but it kind of gets put on that back burner, if that makes sense, right? Because you get into this daily flow again. And we've talked about this many times, but it's that reiterating to yourself that purpose and duty all the time. And that's why I ask every day, who needs me on my A game? Because you sometimes you forget, or you just get so locked up in the day-to-day, in the I need to do this now. Like, it's, you know, having that brings you back to that point where you're like, yes, I am not going to have that, you know, 2:00. Oh, I'm just going to kind of just chill for the rest. Like, I got something to do. I've got a destiny to get to today. Today is my canvas. Today is blank, and I'm making it everything I can.
Yeah.
You know, I love that, brother.
Well, shout out to Scott.
What's
you know,
up, Scott?
Yeah, I was gonna say Scott's gonna appreciate that. You know, Scott's somebody who is like, he's driven by purpose and duty, and he starts with God. You know, like God is like his thing, and everybody has their thing with their faith and everything like that. So I think, you know, Scott's definitely gonna appreciate that. And honestly, I appreciate you, Scott. You know, for always sharing your message and sharing your support and stuff like that. I think it's really motivating. It really is.
Yeah, great show today, boys. You see, y'all thought it was going to be a bad one, and I said, "Nah, it's going to be a good one today." Going to be started with singing. How can it not be?
You got to end it with singing, though, man.
You got to end it with singing. I'm sorry, man.
You gotta, dude, you're going to kill my voice.
Well, that's okay, man. You'll get it back tomorrow. Yeah.
Hey, let's look at the positive side.
Summer's evening.
Let's
train
look at
down for nowhere.
Listen.
Oh, where's Ryan going? Where's Ryan go?
Listen.
Let's go.
All right, you guys ready?
But hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. Here's the positive thing about this, right? Dan is singing. All right. For a second. Dan is singing. 7 months ago, that wasn't one of his priorities.
Hell no. 7 months ago, I was like, 7 months ago, my wife.
He was practicing. He was remembering the lyrics 7 months ago.
By me grunting, and my wife was like, I know what you're saying. It's all good. Anthony says, what I've learned from even that 25, 30-year veterans are having a tough time at attaining new business. Unfortunately, I came in when my only choice is new business, grinding for all my shit. LOL.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But you know what, Anthony? Here's one thing. Yeah, you're gonna have. Here's what I'll say: any 20-year, 30 vet who is not consistently educating themselves and trying something new and think their way is the only way, you're gonna have an advantage on them anyway, because you're coming in with a brand new mindset, right? Like if we do not get creativity is what creates our future.
There we go.
It's that simple. So be creative on your calls. Be creative with getting your customers' business to the door, with helping them achieve their goals. How could you, like I've been all over the map with creativity in my career, to the point where like I'm bringing saws and tools and like fasteners to my customer's dock, and I'm cutting stuff up and I'm building frames to say this will be a new way to ship. Just that creativity and like going into my manager's office and saying, by the way, here's a bill for $200 for parts and pieces because I need it. And he's like, what am I paying for your shed in the backyard? I go, no, like I built this. And like calling like anything and everything. Be that person that steps outside that box, Anthony. And here's the unfortunate thing. A lot of 25, 30-year vets don't think like that.
They still think that closing deals on golf courses. Get out of there, man. You know, like it's
or
it's
strip
different
clubs or whatever. Like it's you've got an advantage, brother. Change that mentality.
you know what they say? Oh, you know what? I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. Well, in logistics, you better learn how to reinvent that wheel and do that every single day. Every single day. You know, when you watch the show, but listen, Anthony, when you watch the show, right? We are giving you options, alternatives, and solutions. The only person that you need to be is yourself. Don't try to fake it and make it that way. Take her advice, you know, and then create your own and then live by that. You know, we're trying to help you, you know, move down that path. So, you know, be you. Don't be anybody else.
Yep. That's a good one. That's a great one. Ryan, you going to pull out the guitar? Let's do it.
All right, let's go. Let's you know, I figured everyone stopped watching anyway, so let's go, buddy.
All right, you start.
All right, a little bit of kumbaya. Let's go.
There we go. Go, waiting for you.
I'm waiting to hear the music.
Oh, I don't think it can. It's not picking up my. Well, we'll have to do acapella today. It's not picking up my my beatbox here.
That would have been. We have to get that done for the next show.
We'll get that done.
We have to do that for Monday. We have to do that for Monday. We'll do a sing along. All right, everybody. So you're missing out on the sing along, but hey, here's a cliffhanger. We're gonna sing on Monday.
Oh, thank God I'm not.